2026 is the year I stop being nice or accommodating to people who screw me over. I'm mean now. Hey, hiya hoya, I'm Market Chaos, and just for a moment, I want you to imagine something for me. You're scrolling through TikTok on Christmas Eve when you come across a slideshow that's first panel reads, "Help! Selling pay what you want adopts for emergency vet bill." The poster goes on to explain that their cat had a medical emergency and that they now have a $400 bill to pay during the holidays. Now, if you're in my shoes, that hits close to home because around the same time last year, your fur baby had to go to the vet for an emergency too, but unfortunately didn't make it. So you think, hey, what the heck? Let's at least look at the adoptable character designs they're selling. You find one you like, so you decide to give their account a cursory glance. They've got a few hundred followers, a few videos showing off the characters that they're trying to sell to pay off this vet bill, and most importantly, their branding is all the same. The art style is consistent, their icon matches all of their other works, and everything seems cohesive. They seem like a real person, a young artist who's in dire need. So you decide to buy that adoptable you took a shining to. Even if you're not a furry, you want to help them out, but little did you know that as soon as the money left your bank account, everything would quickly go downhill. That's the situation I found myself in on Christmas Eve before falling victim to a scammer going by the name Sleepy Marzi. Though they've also gone by Grabby Paws and a few other names between TikTok, Instagram, and Toy House, the only thing that stays the same about them is their dedication to impersonating one real artist. This video is intended to bring awareness to the situation, to ask you, the viewer, to help spread awareness, and to try and prevent others from being scammed by this individual. We'll get into it in a bit, but this person has conned others out of hundreds of dollars, all while tarnishing the reputation of a real artist that they're impersonating. So believe me, I wouldn't be making this video if I didn't think it was important. I also am still recovering from a cold, so if I sound weird, I'm sorry, that's why. I don't usually make this type of content. I make media analysis, theory, and art videos. So suffice it to say, please bear with me through this. And of course, don't harass anyone mentioned in this video. Let's rewind for a second to give everybody the full sequence of events as I experienced them. After seeing the initial TikTok on my FYP and reaching out to who I thought was the character owner and telling them which adopt that I wanted to buy, the scammer sent me a price and directed me to a coffee page. This Rhea0746 name will be brought up again later, so keep a pin in it for now. I asked if the character comes with all permissions, and after they responded affirmatively, I paid the $25 price. Though the scammer sent me a version of the art without the "not yours" watermark on it, they ignored my request to have them email me the high-quality version of the artwork. This raised alarm bells in my head, so the next day, on Christmas morning, mind you, I reverse image searched the image that they sent me, and my fears were confirmed. The exact same image didn't show up, but I did find the same character on someone else's account from 5 months prior. Instantly, I'm thinking, well, crap, okay. I've been scammed, since clearly this user Daytime Days bought this design as a different adoptable from a different person, being that we can see the original reference art in one of their videos. I immediately reached out to Daytime Days for information on the character I now know to be named Bedlam. And while waiting for a reply, I confronted the Sleepy Marzi account. I asked them for either proof that they owned the character rights or to give me a refund, and that if they didn't refund me themselves, I would have no choice but to issue a chargeback and report all of their accounts. As you may expect, they summarily ignored me. However, after seeing that they'd read my messages due to TikTok's automated read receipts, I decided to check their page one more time. Lo and behold, they deleted all of their videos asking for help with vet bills. I let them know that deleting their videos wouldn't stop my report since I already had screenshots, and they blocked me. Any thought that this user may be working in any amount of honesty was out the window. At this point, I'm thinking that this is some kid who's redrawing other people's character designs and selling them for profit. I mean, all of their art is in the same style, unlike with most other scammers who sell art from a variety of people that they've stolen from. But unfortunately, that's the end of our leads when it comes to this Sleepy Marzi account. I didn't screenshot any of the other designs being sold, and Google turned up a huge goose egg when I searched the name. However, all hope was not lost. On the Daytime Days account, they credited their icon as being by the artist Iguana Guava, Guava for short, someone who is active on their social media accounts, in contrast to Daytime, and an icon that you can see in the back of Daytime Speedpaint videos as being the original adoptable design with the price of $30 still listed on it. Guava was my best bet at getting info from who I assumed to be the original source. I sent a Twitter message, I sent an email for good measure, and I waited. I got a reply back on Twitter that left me hopeful, if not a bit anxious. What followed a short while later was a very detailed and eye-opening email that made this whole situation so much worse than I initially thought. Guava informed me that yes, they did design the character Bedlam, who was sold on July 25th, 2025 to Toy House user Caduceus, who is the same as TikTok user Daytime Days. Then, on November 9th, Caduceus sold Bedlam to his current owner, Toy House user Fursuit, for $200 with a bunch of additional art in his gallery. Art that includes the exact image I was sold by the Sleepy Marzi account, drawn by an artist named Marz the Furry Artist. For a second, I believed that this must mean they were who scammed me on TikTok, but looking just a bit deeper proved that wasn't the case. Yes, the art style, characters, and even naming convention all matched with the scammers, because for the past year, this individual has been impersonating Marz as thoroughly as possible. Evidently, the scammer did have a toy house by the name of Shark Bites back in January of 2025 that they were using to steal and scam others using the real Marz's artwork. But it was swiftly removed and the user was banned by the site mods when their activities were reported. This has not stopped them from keeping up this behavior, however, as Marz has been consistently receiving reports of people getting scammed by this person as they pretend to be Marz. After being blocked on TikTok, I filed a dispute with PayPal on the 25th with all of this information, knowing that I would likely have to escalate it to a claim sometime before the 14-day resolution window closed. If you've never dealt with PayPal disputes before, they can be very irritating. The platform wants you to work things out with the seller directly before they ever step in, leaving it up to you to escalate if you're ghosted, since they don't really do anything that incentivizes a fraudulent seller to respond to a ticket. However, strangely, the scammer escalated the issue themselves. I do wish I could see what they wrote in their escalation. Oh, this is just a donation to my coffee. You can't have a refund on a donation, or some other BS like that. Luckily for us, PayPal looks at all transactions through coffee as a sale instead of as a tip or a dono. This makes me very glad that I went to the trouble of noting in my coffee payment that this was just that, payment for a character. Speaking of the coffee, let's finally have a look at this. As you can see from this page, 16 people are listed as having paid them. If we assume that every person paid at least $25 for one character and $45 for two, as implied by this user's payment messages, that would mean that this person has stolen around $500 from people by scamming with Marz's artwork and characters. Just from this account alone. What's even worse is that if you scroll down, you can see that they sold whoever this Saren character is to 2 different people. I really need to stop impulse buying art while tipsy from wine, because how did I miss that? With all of my info submitted to PayPal, the only thing left to do was reach out to the real Marz to let them know about the scammer and my intent to make this video. I kid you not, they are such a kind person, and they are a very talented artist for being so young. It really ticks me off that they're getting taken advantage of like this, and that someone is using their artwork and identity to con people. Marz even told me about how someone came to them distraught that they'd been tricked by the scammer because they really loved the character that they thought they were buying. And you know what Marz did? They transferred the character rights to that person because they'd already spent money on them. The person did insist on paying Marz as well, just to make sure everything was fair, but the fact that Marz was just willing to basically gift the design is really noble to me. They shared all of the screenshots that they gathered from back when they were being stolen from on Toy House, and they even confirmed that this user tends to keep payments in that $15 to $25 range for any one character that they're stealing. Additionally adding that they do not take PayPal or Coffee as payment methods and currently only accept Cash App. I'll play the video that Marz posted to their TikTok account for you now so that you can hear how this has impacted them from their own mouth.
Someone keeps stealing my art and designs I've made and reselling them on either TikTok, Instagram, or Toy House. Now, you might be thinking, this is just a one-off thing. It isn't. And has happened not once, not twice, but 3 different occasions. Thankfully, all of their accounts I know of have been banned, but still. There have been multiple victims to this scammer that have lost money. Please be aware of who you're commissioning and or sending money to for OCs. My only handles I use is MarzSleepyArtz on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, and only Marz the Furry Artist on Toy House. If you see anyone that has a user associated close to mine, as this recent thief tried to do, avoid being reported. With my art posted that doesn't follow the users I gave, please make sure you report them and let me know. As well as, I do not take any other form of payments at the moment that isn't Cash App, so if they ask for PayPal or anything else, that isn't me. Thank you for listening to my video.
Unfortunately, as I've said, we don't really have much information on this person other than their old account handles of sharkbites, kipper._.fun, lambent_dove, Grabby Paws, and Sleepy Marzi. They seem to change them to something furry adjacent, related to Marz, or a mix of the two whenever they're caught or called out. Additionally, their coffee is fairly bare bones as well, with no icon and the name Ria followed by what I assume is an automatically generated bunch of numbers. But then there's the PayPal info, which is actually our saving grace here because this dumbass has a public PayPal ME link associated with their account that anyone on the internet can find. One that uses more of Marz's artwork as an icon to, I guess, really sell the idea that they are the artist they're impersonating? Now, do I believe that Anaya Rodriguez is their real name? Not really, especially considering the fact that this is their second PayPal account. Months ago, when this was first brought to Marz's attention, Anaya's PayPal ME was 5-star lover, which, when we look at their info, lines up more with the name being Ria or Maria Rodriguez, as it matches the coffee from earlier. It also lines up with our scammer's Cash App, as reported by someone who was scammed back on December 14th. Whether their name is Ria, Anaya, or any other variation of Rodriguez, please be sure to double check who you're sending money to before you send it. The main issue is that most of the people tricked by this scammer don't know who Marz is to begin with, so they have no way to know that the real Marz doesn't use Coffee or PayPal, and they think that this is just art made by the person selling it. That's why I need you to share this information as much as you can. Like, comment, hype, send it to your local furry Facebook group if you can, and use this information to make sure that you and the people around you don't get scammed. Ultimately, there were red flags with this person's account. There usually are in cases like this. Their TikTok only had 3 videos on it, and all were trying to sell characters. They had no other social media accounts listed, and their coffee is barren, with the fact that they sold the same OC twice. I am still kicking myself for not catching that. My best advice is to, unfortunately, never buy from people on TikTok. It is filled with scammers and people looking to make a quick buck. And it's just always better to purchase adoptables from people with a traceable history of creating artwork and characters. At the very least, ask for a work-in-progress photo of the character that you're wanting to adopt if you decide that you absolutely have to have an OC from a TikTok listing. Make sure the seller can prove that they are the artist or otherwise that they have the rights to the character they're selling. If you have any information about this scammer, feel free to drop it in a comment below. I want to stress again that I don't condone harassment of any sort. If you run into this person, report it to the platform, shoot Marz a message, and go about your day. Usually I'd be against sharing PayPal information, but since this is the only way to share information about someone who is scamming people out of, again, hundreds of dollars, we kind of have no other choice here. And if they didn't want their information shared, they shouldn't be scamming people, and they shouldn't have a public PayPal ME link. 2 PayPal ME links, actually. As a reminder, this isn't my normal type of video, so please forgive any mistakes I made. I usually do media analysis, art, and animation content, so if you liked this, I'd encourage you to hit that subscribe button to support the content that I'm passionate about making. And stay tuned to watch me confess my undying love to another content creator here on YouTube very soon. And speaking of support, let's give a big thank you to our ardent supporters and biggest fans over on Patreon. Kai, Mary, and especially Agent Ness, thank you guys so much. Feel free to check out the Patreon if you want early access to scripts, art, and animation hosted on the website because Patreon finally agreed to reclassify the account as appropriate for all ages. I had to get rid of all of the artistic nudity and any of the blood that I had on there, but you know, it's worth it being able to show you guys the artwork. I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful 2026. Let's do our best to make this year great together, and I hope to see you in the next one. And above all else, make sure to keep the chaos. Bye-bye.